Hello guys, I thought that I would introduce this one because it's a bit of a hodgepodge at the start, I guess. I've been doing Roxy's each week, but collecting and doing the prompts, but it's all kind of come together probably in the last maybe only 6 weeks, I guess. So I've now caught up on the piece up to prompt 14. So I'm going to try from now on, because I've only got 6 weeks left, to do a video a week, smaller one. This one was a bopper because I've amalgamated kind of up to this point. So up to prompt 14. 15 is about to come out any minute, I'm guessing. So I hope that that makes sense, and I hope that you enjoy that. It kind of wasn't, there wasn't enough for me to do something, and I've been just to America and just only recently got back. So I had some other stuff going on to be able to do a video a week, even though I love watching everyone's weekly videos. So I'll try from now on. It's just with my life being as kind of chaotic as it is, I'll do my best. But I hope this one that you find this interesting, and I love seeing everyone else's. So hopefully, we can continue and finish strong in the next 6 weeks. See ya. Hello. I'm standing on a chair to get a bird's eye view of this, but I'm going to bring you down closer because I've just managed to set it all out on the floor, and I've got a pile to show you of the elements I want to include up to and including prompt 10, something that makes you happy. So let me go through something with you and go a bit closer. Okay. Starting in the top right now, because the kitchen table that I have at home isn't wide enough or long enough to get the whole piece on without it flopping over each side. So this is what it's looking like. Down here. And I've got a pile of bits that I want to show you. So first things first, look at those. Those were Old Country Road wool slippers that I got about 2 years ago, and I wish I'd bought like 6 pairs because they are the absolute most favourite item of clothing that I own. Can never find shoes that neon. So I wanted to show you a pile of things that I wanted to add to this. First off, this is part of a gift that, isn't that beautiful, that Kate in the Nest gave me for my birthday. Some of these beautiful, really gorgeous, lightweight, almost cotton voile yo-yos that she sourced in England. It's beautiful, super, super delicate, sorry. Embroidery and an incredibly fine piece of lace. So all of those will go on for the various prompts. I've got to actually get my prompt book out because I think I'm only up to, I don't know, I've got to hang on, I'll go and get my prompt book. Okay, I'm back. I had to write them down as I go because I'm so far behind. I think that what I was up to on here was number 4 old quilt blocks. That's the last, that is the last video I did, kind of 1 through 4. So I've still got to do lace/crochet doily, which I'm going to use that beautiful piece of lace there. I'm going to use this piece of lace that Kate gave me for that. What else have I got in here? I'm going to show you. Close the trim. Okay, so that's lace crochet doily. The next one's Granny Chic, and I wanted to show you something I think you may have seen in a very old video of mine. Oh, hang on, there's some more. There's another lace doily. So they're all going on for, this is a better way of doing it, Missy. They're all going on for lace crochet doilies. I've got a trim thing happening over here. They're all going on for lace crochet doilies. These were given to me by Beckett Sobey for my vintage textiles workshop that I just did with her. So that's prompt 5. Granny Chic, I want to take you back over here and show you just this pile of absolute gloriousness. So in an old video that I've done, and I haven't done very many videos, so I talk about my grandma being Joy, and there is a dress that I believe I showed in this video, and this is the fabric that my grandmother made and wore this dress, and she gave me the dress a long time ago before she passed, and she gave me some fabric, and now I've been holding on to this for probably, God, I finished high school 25 years ago, 30 years, because she would have worn it 50 years ago, the dress. So I have not, and it's a silk. It's got stains on it. That's so beautiful and so old. It is a beautiful, beautiful floral silk. I've kept on to it in every move that I've made, in every house, and it's been in my parents' garage. It's been in my shed for years and years and years. Anyway, when that prompt came out, isn't that just a glorious, beautiful serendipitous moment? So I am going to cut some of this, and it is going to go on here. I just need to find the right little corner for it, and I'll cut out, I think, like a rather large piece, like maybe just a square, even a whole square like that, so that you can actually see one of the big floral emblems. I don't think I'm going to crochet that. I don't think I'm going to embroider into it. I think I'll just build other things kind of on top. So that is my idea for Granny Chic. Now, that took me ages to find in my boxes of stuff. I knew I had it. I knew even what other fabrics it was with, but do you think I could find the bloody box? No. So I am thrilled because I actually brought out something else in case I hadn't been able to find that. I got a backup, and she used to make, I've got a couple of her aprons. This is one that she made. Must have been for one of the granddaughters. She had 3, but it's a child's apron, but in all the colors that she loves, you know, the pastel pinks and the mauves, and that was all of her coloring. So this was a child's apron. It ended up with me. Super happy about that. I am also going to cut a bit of, and it's torn, and I don't have daughters. I can't obviously wear it. It's coming apart there at one of the seams. So I'm going to cut that up and use also a piece of this for Granny Chic. So there's 2 pieces in here directly from my grandmother, which I feel really, really glad about. The next one, the boys have been out bike riding this morning. The next one is your own embroidery. That'll be interesting. Hang on a tick. So now we're up to number 7, your own embroidery. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So he's watching TV in the background now. He's coming off the motorbike. I made a couple of these little tiny butternut, oh my gosh, bush babies for friends who've had babies and my nieces, and I thought, what a beautiful way of adding to the Australian element of this quilt than that. So I'm also going to add this. I'm thinking I've got to finish the embroidery, and I think it'll go right there, which will be nice. So there's that. That'll be my own embroidery. A trim. That is definitely going to be a trim. I also have this, which is a bit larger. I think somehow I'm going to find a place for that. Oh, here's the rest of them come in now, so I might have to pause this. This was the other thing. It's the right tones. I'm not sure if the sparkliness is really what we're after, but that sea green is amazing, and so is the actual motif. So I'm thinking that this will work. Okay, I'm thinking that this will work for a trim somewhere, because the colors really do. Tonally, it goes beautifully. And here's the rest of them. Okay, I'm back. I wanted to show you something else that was something that makes me happy. So I bought this from Beck at Sobe when I went up to the shop in Newcastle. I don't think she's ever had them online, but she has a little table at the front, and it has some old quilt blocks. It's where I bought this star one from, and I also bought this one from her up there. And anyway, this was one that she had, so I absolutely love it. It says Albert Lee Mayfield. So I'm thinking I'm jumping around now, but something that makes me happy, number 10. And it's one of those things where I've had it for probably, I don't know, 12 or 18 months, and I've never wanted to use it because it's almost too special. You know those things that you've got when you do that and you save them and save them and save them, and then you never end up using them. So I've got to take that chrysanthemum thing out because it's just not quite right there. And I'm thinking of bringing this yellow across with a little bit of yellow somewhere there and putting this little guy on here. I just think that is quite lovely. And yes, those colors aren't necessarily, there's still pinks and greens in there. There's a couple of blacks, but I think it actually adds a really, really, really nice different dimension. So I've popped on up here the trim. We'll see how that goes, and I'll keep going. And I've got to go back because I've missed some things. But oh, okay, so the other thing I want to show you was old quilt block that I got from America. And still going through these things. What was I up to? A trim. No, I've done a trim. Something gifted was all my Kate things. So this that I've just placed here, that little trim, and this piece of lace. So that's got to find a home. The next thing I want to show you was another something that makes me happy is this was part of a huge yo-yo quilt. Now I've cut a square off it, and I actually think those colors go really well. The problem is when I'm running out of space, do I put them? And I think it's got to go roughly around here on that green border, something like that. Unless it goes up in that corner instead of the other quilt block there. I'm going to try that. Hang on. All right, still here. I've just shifted a few little things around. I bought these from, somewhere in Melbourne. Actually, maybe Kate in the Nest gave them to me from, I'll add oh my gosh, the name escapes me. I'll add it in a text below. Oh my God, Lucello in Melbourne. There's a couple of little pieces there, like that, and then that little lady there, that I've just interspersed in places. I've just placed my grandmother's fabric and that up there, and taken that big quilt block off, that Dresden plate, because I'm not loving it for some reason. So that's going to go there. This quilt block, beautiful grandmother's garden, flower garden quilt block. I've got this space here with a little thing in it. I was thinking it could go there. It's quite nice, like the coloring's beautiful. I just don't know if I am going to need it elsewhere. So the other thing is, we went down to the snow a couple of weeks ago. I stopped at the Jindabyne Vinnies, and for $2 there was this, really don't love the colors at all, but beautiful kind of weave on the front. And so I thought I'd cut this pillowcase. I've binned the stuffing, so it would have been gross and polyester, long and very old, and I'm just going to cut the hydrangea out, and then maybe I can do, I know I said I wouldn't do more embroidery, but I think I will put a little bit of stitching into this and put that somewhere. So that's one thing that I'm going to cut out now, and then I'm hoping I've got most of the placement. Okay, so it's just about to be kickoff for the NRL Grand Final. I've been working on the composition. We've got 3 sons. All 3 go for different teams, but our middle sons... No, don't go to the Broncos. Our middle son's team, the Panthers, is playing, so we're going for that. Americans, you won't probably know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. And I will come back and show you. I'm going to... All the boys are ready to watch, and I'm going to try and maybe tack some of this stuff down now that I've got all of the base pieces in order, which is really exciting. I think I've definitely broken the back of that. And I found a spot for the yo-yo and some of the Dresden quilt plate just there. So anyway, we'll watch the footy and we'll come back and see how much I've done after that. Okay. The football's over, our team lost, there were tears, and now I've gone to pack this up because it's getting dark and I've got to let the dog in, and I have just realised I've gone to pack it up and look what I've done. I've stitched it to the ground. I've actually safety pinned it in through the carpet. Can't believe it, the whole thing. So half of them I can pull, but then the pins flip out, and half of them I'm going to actually have to unpin. So just when you think you're getting somewhere, it's really quite annoying. So that's not a win. Losers all around this afternoon, but I am really happy with the composition and I've pinned most of it down. So that's the update for this afternoon. So this is what I have at the moment. Same, it hasn't been touched in a few weeks now. I've been to America and back and got some delightful things that I would like to put on here. I'm working on it today on my bedroom floor because it's tricky. I'm not going to do the same thing and stitch it to the carpet, but I wanted to show you how full it's looking, and I wanted to go through with you some of the pieces I'd love to put on it. Okay, these are some of the treasures I bought in America that I would like to put on this quilt. They are the right colors. So this is a very thick, on almost a canvas. I'm going to have to try, and it's been machine stitched, so I'm going to try and pick that off because it's going to be too thick by the time I get a backing and try and hand quilt this, which I'm trying to do. This beautiful one I have washed and is ready to go. I don't know if it'll go in its entirety. I feel like it should, but again, it's quite full. These need 9 actually. I'm going to pop these on for the quilt, and we haven't had a crochet, going back to that, we haven't had a crochet prompt yet, but I think we might. So that is my old quilt block to go in with that. This is the latest one this week of vintage fabric. So there is a piece of feed sack that I bought in Texas and have washed and dried. Again, needs a press. That beautiful color. That's definitely going on there. I can see that working really well. Oh, I think that I will take these apart and use them individually because that's just so pretty and I can get a lot out of that. Again, absolutely adore this one when I saw it and was lucky enough that it's actually a set of 3. So I'm going to press that because it's been washed, but it's quite scrumpled. So we use that. I would like to use this man with the bugle. There he is. The color's right. Why not? It's gorgeous. Again, this week's prompt is at prompt 14. Vintage fabric. I'm going to use this as a trim motif. It's broken, but I can put it back together. I think that's glorious. I've got 2 more of those. That's just fabric. So whether or not I use all 3, I don't know. This I'm definitely going to cut into smaller pieces because it is absolutely glorious and it can be shared amongst multiple projects. So that's that. That's a little quilt block that I made that I haven't used yet. This is a favorite fabric, and I am a fluoro, and I adore neon. I'm just not sure if that's going to go. Lacy bits, still got to use that. That is from the bag of yo-yos that I picked up in Texas that this lady had made. So slightly peach in tone. They're not exactly the right colors, but I'll see and I'll show you when I pop these on. That's my piece of lace, lacy bits. That is a gift. Another lovely peach one. This is a piece, this is going to be a gift. And this is from Michelle McKillop, who sent this to me in Happy Mail. And it looks so much like feed sack to me. I wouldn't be surprised. And I definitely want to use a piece of this on my quilt. So that was absolutely beautiful. I would like to, oh yes, a lace, maybe a lace collar on there for the lacy bits. I would like to use that one in its entirety because I think separating it would be such a shame. So that's on there. These ones I picked up 15 in a bag, and look how delightfully fine that crochet is. It's amazing. They were all different size, or there's 3 different sizes. So I'd like to put some of those on from my America trip. This isn't he funny? Look, he doesn't even have a beak. It was one of the only bluebirds I picked up in Texas. And I'll have to stitch his little beak on, but I would like to have a bird on this quilt. So that's definitely going on. It's a matter of finding the spot for it, and we'll have a play around with that next. And then I took this away. I don't know why I put that away, but I've got to iron this because it's from the wash. It's come up quite crumpled. So we'll do that and then get that on there. Some beautiful yo-yos. Oh, absolutely divine. Feed sacks. And then beautiful Jocelyn Davis. Can she fit on? I'm going to try. I've just pulled a lot of the pieces off the line. I'm folding them ready for the next batch. And I noticed this one, which is really beautiful colors, and all the colors that I'm currently working on. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this bit. It's obviously been cut, torn somehow. I'm going to just cut this out and use it on the on my quilt because it's the perfect colors. It's such a shame that staining didn't come out on that side. because that would have been another gorgeous one that we could, I mean, will still use it, but what a shame. It's like the one tiny spot on the entire piece. And then I've got to iron these, but I thought those violets are really beautiful. So I'm going to add those American pieces in, as well as the other ones that I already have done. Bit of a strange one. First of all, I wanted to show you, look, my peonies are in flower in my garden. The once a year that you got to run out and cut them before the sun gets them, because they wilt like everything in the Highlands in summer. So I want to show you that. The smell is absolutely glorious, and I need to paint a doily, one of the ones that I bought from America actually, and interestingly enough, I've just painted another one that I needed over here for my Roxy's quilt, and this one, the cotton just took the paint beautifully, like most do. And then I went to, it's just drying over there, and then I went to use this one and it wouldn't soak it up at all, which I thought was fascinating. So I don't know what material it's made from, but to put it down on here, can't quite see. Is that better? Yeah. To put it down on here, see how it just kind of goes through and it doesn't actually get evaporated into the crochet cotton. So I started doing that and thinking, well, I'm wasting my time. And then had to just bunch it up and try. I don't mind if it's not so vibrant. I actually think it would be nice because the area where it's going here, it will then have this on top of it. So I just wanted it to not be white on top of a vintage creamy textile. So I'm having to kind of paint it in and be quite rough about it, because otherwise it's just not taking, which I thought was quite interesting. And I've got YouTube on in the background. There's a girl who's fabric shopping in Portland, Oregon, which is where I think Mum and Dad stopped very close on their cruise coming back from Vancouver. There was a stop in, oh God, what was the stop? The seas. God, I can't think now, it's going to drive me nuts. Washington, somewhere in Washington state. That I looked up actually and had quite a few really nice looking yarn and thrift stores. But I think that they were doing tours that day, so they couldn't actually go out and scout for me, because I thought, Mum actually said, let me know if you want me to go out and scout for you. Mum's not so thrifty. She still is a little bit late to the party on understanding why everything old is nice to me. So I would have to send her with very specific instructions, otherwise she would just think everything looks scabby and old, which is pretty funny because I kind of think the scabbier the better, right? Anyway, so she needs to come out with me a bit more locally first, and I guess then she would kind of get it. I mean, Alexis was a really fast study. She got it straight away, so maybe I'm an okay teacher and I can teach Mum as well. And we can do that together now that she lives here, which is nice. So I had to do that. I'm actually going to dunk this in the water now and see. These paints are really nice because they actually, well, it's nice if you think that, I do. They don't budge, so you can actually wash them out and they won't really come out. Someone messaged me on Instagram and asked about do they come out on clothes? I don't know, because I haven't actually done anything wearable with them. They're water-based, so you'd think they would, but they kind of hold up really well once the pigment is on them and dry. So I'm going to let that dry now. I might do just a bit more pink there, because I don't want it to all look the same. I want there to be some variation in the piece, because I think that's nice. It means it's not homogenized. And yeah, maybe that will do. Yeah, I find these so close in colouring. What's the point? But anyway, okay, I'm gonna let that dry. I love the fact that this table is actually plastic made to look like wood, and it was originally an outdoor one that we had in our last house because we didn't have a dining room table in the house. The house was too small, and we outgrew it very quickly with 3 little babies born in 3 years. So that was an outside table that we had that came inside when we moved into this house. And I love it because the kids can do their artwork on it and I can just literally scrub it down. So it has been great. And I don't have to be too precious about it. So I'll show you this once it dries. What I'm doing, I thought I'd show you at the moment, is I think I'm finally set on a lot of my placement, my composition. And it's really funny because when I filmed the last segment, I was like, yeah, I think I'm finished. And then I actually have changed it relatively significantly since then. But I spent last night kind of changing some things around and putting extra pieces like the bird from America, this beautiful piece on, painting that as you just saw, cutting that out, placing this block. Finally, this block has been, which I bought in Texas, has been in so many positions on this quilt. It's not funny. I just could not find, I really wanted it to go horizontal, but I could not make it work. So I actually quite like it. I don't know if that's now too vertical with it, but you can only see it in the context of the whole thing. I think it'll be fine. I've come down with a bit of a cold, but that's fine. It's not a bad one. It's just annoying from one of my sons. And what I am now doing is using this temporary adhesive to take out the pins and be able to stitch it down so I can actually draw the grid lines through for hand quilting it, because I'm actually going to do something that I learnt in a Beck workshop, which was just to quilt over the top of stuff. I'm going to do that. And I don't know, I'm going to take the risk. It looked really amazing on one of her reimagining quilts. And there might be a couple of things that I don't go all the way through. I don't know why I'm pointing to that, because I actually think I will go all the way through that. But there'll be some other things maybe that I won't. Oh, for instance, like this, you know, that in the top corner. You know, I've seen one that she did that she has gone through there, but I think I won't. For now, that might change. Who knows? I change my mind all the time, and that's our prerogative. But also, I thought that I might use some of these, and obviously not that one, but these and different ones, in the sense that in quite large patches. So and change the thread up a little bit for like for instance in this area it might be that lilac color, and then it might go through to a pink, you know, way over here for the next chunk, you know, maybe, I don't know, that's just what I had in my head. Obviously I've got neutral. I thought that might look quite nice, it changing, and it's not, and those colors are all incredibly soft, and they are the colors of the quilt. So I think that should work in theory. In theory it would be quite nice. So anyway, I'm just spraying, and I haven't really used, it's a little bit messy, but there's just no way that I could have it flat in any other way, because I can't put a huge, great big ruler down to draw the lines when I've got a million pins under the top. It just wouldn't sit. So this is why I'm using the adhesive, and I'm just trying to do it extremely lightly and so that it just tacks down, and also so that I can still lift it up, which I can, because I don't think I'm doing it the way that you're supposed to, like when you baste a quilt. Because I still want flexibility if I want to add a tiny little thing, like for instance, just as I was doing it, I'll move you back down here, sorry. I added a piece of lace behind this little thing here, you know? So I want to still be able to do stuff like that because my absolutely final little bits are not on it, because we've still got, how long to go? 6 weeks? If we're 14 out of 20, yeah, I'm guessing. So I just kind of do that. Big. And then, oh God, it's so stucco, which I know is the point, but I try and do it like this. I'm gonna take you back up. It's probably not the right way at all, but that's the only way, because I can't take out every single pin either that's been done, and that, I think those are you're gonna see those threads through, are you? No, not quite. Kind of do that. So that's my very haphazard way of doing it, and sometimes it's just enough that if I have to roll this up, because this is on the dining room table, again, much to Matt's chagrin, it's just enough that if I have to roll it up and I don't play with it for a week or so, I'm not going to forget where things go, and they're not going to fall out. That's my reasoning for this stuff, because you think you'll remember, and I don't. There's no way I do. So that's how I ended up losing 2 engagement rings, because you swear to God you remember where you're going to put them, and lo and behold, I'm now onto my 4th one. So I've got a terrible, terrible habit of doing that. All right, so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Let's see if I can move this up a bit, and I'm doing it just in sections. Maybe I can, yeah, I'll do this little fella down here. I did some the other thing is I'm trying, to make sure I don't have, with some of these fabrics that are really, really, really fine, I'm trying to make sure that I've flattened them as much as possible out, so that I'm not going to bubble, I'm not going to cause any more bubbles when I do quilting. I'm sure that there will be casualties of some kind, because it's not going to be perfect when you've also got a nozzle that's this spraying this large an area. Like that's happened a couple of times. Oh, bugger. See that line? That's happened a couple of times where I just wanted a really small piece, but you don't actually have the ability to cover areas that small. So it's a bit of a trial and error. Anyway, I might actually leave that, I might actually leave this little tail bit, because I might want to cut into it a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of that, maybe. Yeah, I think I will. Might do that now, actually. Hold on. This is probably the biggest stretch of fabric I have here. With this giant piece, so get that. And this tablecloth isn't exactly even either, strangely. So that's interesting. And then I'm off shot up there. Let's do this. Okay, so I've come along to here. And I do want to go over the top of that, and I'll come from the back of that. Okay, so it's just a bit Tetrisy on some of the pieces, which is fine now. Yeah, so that was one of those ones where I added a lace. What's that piece of lace? Look, this looks really nice because I've cut that sandwich doily in half. What I actually did was just fold it over like that and popped it. Very rudimental filming, I'm sorry. I just folded it like that and then popped it on there, stuck it down, because it'll be stitched through. And I think that just really finishes it off quite nicely along that edge, because that was missing something. So maybe that, and I think that's actually, yeah, it is. That's actually the wrong side. So I'll just measure kind of from there to there, maybe. A little bit further out at the edge. I might move it down a fraction. Maybe like that. Okay. Okay. Sometimes the, oh no, can's blocked. Great. Okay, we'll have to go and deal with that. Okay, I think where I was up to was on the other side of this quilt, but I had to unclog the nozzle, and I just had to get a bit of hot water and some pins and get out the spray that had kind of gathered in the nozzle, because you're supposed to use it in huge sweeping motions and spray over quite a large area. I'm in some places, look, I mean, I'm trying to do small bits, so I'm trying to use the spray quite low down, which isn't how it's supposed to be used. And so it doesn't come out in one big spraying motion and it clumps into the nozzle, which is understandable. So I just have to every now and again clear it out. And then I keep going and it's fine. But it is helpful to, I don't know if that goes back or forward. It's still more helpful to have the spray than not, because, damn, okay, that's the other way around. Yeah, like that. Because there's just no way I'd be able to do it without it. So it's a necessary, like just that little bit there, you know, that's gonna get sticky. And I'm about 3/4 done, I would say, of the gluing, the basting. So that's cool. Lift up. Trying to get down all of this today if I could, because I would really love to start drawing some lines on there. Now, how am I going to do that? Yeah, okay. And quilting, because I imagine the quilting process is going to take a while, and I'm going to keep adding to it as I go. So there'll be pieces that I pull out that I'll add to the top layers
So this is the bottom layer, the base layer, and I've also got to find, I was thinking last night about what is my backing going to be, and thinking I'll enter this. I got an email yesterday from the Australian Quilt Show, or AC, I don't know what organisation it is, one of the quilt shows, saying enter for 2026, and I think I will enter this in the, I've never entered a quilt show before, but why not? I saw Karen's last year, Karen from Railway Cottage, who I've mentioned before, and the Mariner, I saw that in person last June. It was absolutely spectacular, and so inspiring. So why not? Kate, beautiful Kate from Kate in the Nest. So I was saying, there is a category for recycled, and wouldn't it be great if I enter that, and we'll just see how we go. So, and thinking about using a recycle, a vintage sheet for the backing, because it'll be big enough, and I can have it as one giant piece. So before I do the quilting, I'll draw the lines on the front, but I need to think about and search through my sheets and find something that is harmonious with the front. So that's where my head's at with that. Now, oops, well, that's the problem with doing this. Yeah. Spray it down. Sometimes I just lift it up and go underneath it a bit. Okay, let's try that. Okay, and then, did I do that? Yeah, okay. There we go. I've got a little... Oh yeah. Oh, you look cute. Oh, don't you? That's adorable, that outfit. Yes, it is. Yeah. Very gorgeous. Are you going to go down? Yeah. Okay, yeah, have a look for some yummy food. The boys have just run down to go and see Nana and Papa in the cottage. So, how did that go like that? Alright. Yeah. I'm getting a bit heavy-handed on the old glue. It's worked out now. Yeah, that one there. You're getting a little free singing, getting a little free sing-along. Okay. Yay! I've only got this little section left. Pull it down. Okay, bring this up. So I just kind of keep moving up like that. I'm doing a video, babe. So I'm going to keep it going along with this, and I might take it up to the last bit at the end, but I'll do this off camera. Alright, I would say I'm coming up on the last little bit, about the last 40 centimeters worth, which is ever so exciting. And I really, really hope, oopsie, I'm going to do that one under. Maybe a little bit like that. Okay. And then that one over that. Maybe a little, I need something there, but that's okay. Oh, I'm off screen on that bit. It's alright. Texas Treasures. Just pull that a bit taut. Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, okay, might have to pull all this down. Kids coming back inside. How'd you go? Yeah? Okay. What I don't have a lot of, that I've realised, is script. Not that there's a requirement for how much, but I'm going to have to address that one. And I think I might, oh damn it, do a bit of embroidery myself. I'm going to leave that in the middle, just so that it holds down that, because it's rather heavy. Bring these last bits out, and I've still got to address this top corner, or very top corner, I should say. That is the very top of my work. I'm going to leave that pin in just for safety. Okay. Now, I will glue this down because it can come up, but I still have to find something to go under here. There. So we'll get this down and something under here, which, I feel like I've used a lot of those, but that's quite nice. It might be okay. Alright. Now, how did we... Let's do that, didn't we? Take this. Oh, I've done that one. Great! Fine. There we go. It's just a bit fabulous. No, bugger. It needs to be a bit higher up. Like that. To fill that gap. Probably. Okay. Alright. Did a bit of a heavier spray on that because this is a heavier, that cross stitch, heavier, denser material. A little bit there for this guy. Don't want him covering so much of his face, so let's see, like that maybe. Okay, now I left that one in, I think, just overnight to give it a bit of stability. I hadn't done this, so I'll go on the edge, the back edge, bring it Maybe make that a tiny bit tighter. Okay, all right. See how we go. All right, that's down. Oops, threads have I got going on here? Right. Okay. Last pin out, guys. Let's have a wee look now. I'm going to do the same on this. Okay, now we're talking. All right, now that needed a little doo-doo there. Right, yes. Okay, right, now I can start drawing grid lines. I think I'm going to keep that for the next, this part will be long enough. I'm going to do the grid lines on the next video, and then we'll have a new prompt out by then, and I can go through all the prompts and tick off, make sure I've got bits and pieces of each prompt. We'll do that together. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, I said I wasn't going to add any more, but look, as I was putting pieces away, I found my friend Neil had bought on my last trip up to Port, had bought me this, and it's the most amazing mauve. So it has got to go in. And now I'm just trying to make space for it. And the other thing I needed to show you as I was putting that away is I found the most magnificent yellow yo-yo. So that's going over with the yellows. And I want to add in this amazing lace that I bought in America. So with the green, the vintage green. So I'm trying to find spaces for those. All right, I have started drawing the grid lines through, so I can then put the backing on and put some safety pins through it to hold all the layers together, and then I can start quilting from, what's that, right to left. Haven't got the round, I'm only up to there. So it's a bit of a process. I've got it on the floor, but I can actually roll it up and do it on the table crossways now. I am loving Albert Lee Mayfield. I've added that beautiful green lace from America, and also this lace from America that I realized is collar lace, and I had no idea when I bought it that you pull it apart and then it sits in a round. I'll show you in a little bit when I get it back out, but it's this long one here. And because I'd never seen it before, and that's why I bought this whole piece, because I don't really need the pieces up the top, and I thought that was so interesting, but I really had no idea what it was for, and that's what it does. It's incredible. So I'm going to keep the rest of it and actually use it because it sits so beautifully in an arch or a full circle. And so I learned something new about that, and I'm absolutely loving it. We've obviously still got 6 prompts to go, but I will go back in and keep adding little bits and pieces. I was watching another person's YouTube, and I'm going to practice some script. I've still got some embroidery to do, so I've still got lots more to do, but I want to hunker down the bits that I can and be getting on with, like, hand quilting at nighttime, you know, and once now everything's stuck down, it feels like it's manageable. So I'm absolutely loving it. It's one of my
it's one of my favorite things that I've ever made so far. And Matt, this is very busy for him. He is very much a minimalist. He thinks there's so much clutter in our home. He can't stand like having, like, he would live in a very modern house with no window dressings, just art on a wall, and that's it, right? So for him, this is overwhelm central. But he actually walked past it last night and he's like, I actually really like that piece of yours. And I was like, wow, coming from you, that's huge. Because he doesn't get it. And he just thinks it's like, an assault to your eyes. So he really likes this piece, which I'm, really surprised. And that's really nice for me to hear, because there's been a lot of work that's gone into this. But I'm excited. And I don't know, I'm thinking the very first colour I'm going to do is a really light pink, and I am going to change up the colours as I go along and quilt in different patches with different Okay, don't know why that cut off, but that was the plan for the quilting. I now am going to take it to Green Door and get some of the girls to help me baste it onto the sheet for the backing. And this has been long enough, so get ready for part 2.